I believe we're live. It is Sunday. Oops. It is Sunday, August the 31st, 2025, 1000 hours here on the East Coast of America. And this is the Coffee with Frankie show, where we have a theme song.
Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to stoop. Hustling dreams in every loop. In the park he starts, hits the handball wall. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a confident grin. On the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway hum, the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill, Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go.
All right. Well, it is Sunday. It's the last day of August. Can you believe it? September's almost here. And so for the Coffee with Frankie show today, we're trying out StreamYard. You see the little logo there. We're going to see if we like this better. We're able to play the theme song, so that's good. We got a bunch of other features that Restream doesn't have. So we're going to see if this actually works better or not. Don't want to play this again.
Frankie from Flatbush rides
playing.
the Brooklyn line.
All right, let's see the comments. Who's here, who's not here? Phil Adams is here. Let's see if this, okay, yeah. Give the video a like. Yeah, please do. We're trying to figure out better ways to do it. We're experimenting all the time. And we'd appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel and or just like the video. Harlan Abraham is here. Howdy, folks. Todd is here. Says good morning to all of the Jet fans and all the other fans who might be tuning in and not saying anything. Audio visual 100%, says Phil. All right, let me know if you hear the bell. Joe Mike is here. Good to see you. And here's Jake Asman, or, as is my suspicion, is this fake Asman? You got your Jake Asman, but Jake Asman can't be all over the place. We appreciate the super chat, Jake or fake Asman, but what's the chances that this is actually the real Jake Asman? Or is it a bot that he has hired to appear as Jake Asman? Because after all, the man does 5 live streams a day. He got a ESPN show. How much time does he have to be commenting on old Frankie's channel? I think it's a fake, a fugazi, you might say. But you never know. See, and this is what he says. I'm real and spectacular. But that's what you would hire the bot to say. Precisely. So I'm not convinced, Jake or fake Asman. Of course, you have the Asmaniacs. And who knows what the Asmaniacs do when Jake Asman is not on? What do the Asmaniacs do in the off time? That's why Jake has to do 10 shows a day. The Asmaniacs got nothing else to do. They're Asmaniacs. Their whole purpose is to be Asmaniacal. Asmaniacal. And what are they doing when Jake's not on screen? That's what you got to wonder about the Asmaniacs. But we appreciate the super chat, Jake. We are trying to build up our coffers to compete and win in the independent media game. Phil Adams says only the real Jake would know who's had a birthday over the weekend. Well, that's not true. Probably a lot of people could know that. Jeremy, the Jets Chaos Man, is here. He says, for anyone wondering, in spite of their extra picks, the Cowboys are handcuffed to Dak Prescott till 2028. So Jets Chaos coming in hot with some Dak Prescott information. Jeremy, I don't think anyone in this chat cares about Dak Prescott. And even then, it would be $32 million, terrible contract. Yeah, no. It's not terrible for the Cowboys. But do you know who Dak Prescott's agent is, Mr. Chaos? Do you have any clue? Do you know what's going on? Do you understand the game within the game? That's really the question. He says terrible contract. It's a great contract for the player. It's wonderful for the player. Not so good for Mr. Jerry Jones. But guess who Dak Prescott's agent is? That's right, the one, the only, David Amolageta. The man that Jerry Jones conveniently forgot who it is. Oh, it's just some guy. Yeah, the most powerful agent in football, David Mulageta, the same guy who represents Micah Parsons. So there's a game within the game. And you got to understand all the levels. There's levels to this, man. There's levels. Bro. And Mulageta got it on lock, man. You don't fuck with David Mulageta. I mean, that's just rule number one. If you own a team and you're trying to get a player and they're represented by David Mulageta, you do not mess with that man. He will rake you over the coals. Joe Mike coming in hot. He says, Frankie, please explain how Jadeveon Clowney and Zadarius Smith defensive ends are still unsigned. I don't know, Joe Mike. How do you want me to explain it? It's weird. I don't know. But every year there's one or two guys like this that linger into the season, and then they get signed eventually. I remember a couple of years ago it was Kyle Van Noy, and then he went to the Ravens and had a great season. So I don't know why this happens, to be honest with you. We haven't heard anything about Jadeveon Clowney. The only thing in the media that's been about Zadarius Smith was that he's got several offers that he's weighing. It might be time to come in, buddies. The season's starting this week. What are we waiting for? I don't know, Joe. I mean, at this point, it's all out of excuses because you could say these veterans, they don't want to go through training camp. They're waiting for the right situation. They're waiting for injuries to happen. I mean, but all of that's over now. The season's starting this week. What are we waiting for? I don't know. You think I know, Joe? How do I know? I want them in camp. If I was his agent, I would say, let's go. Take the best offer, whatever it is. You got 3 offers, take the best one. Who cares? Or you want to, whatever it is, you take the best situation. You want the situation? Go take the best situation. You know? So, I don't know. If I was the agent, I would say, okay, it's time to go, guys. Let's go. What are we doing? Let's get some money. Let's get into the situation, and let's, get some sacks so we can make more money next year. Like, if I'm the agent, I'm getting my guy in there. But I don't know. It's weird, Joe. I don't know. Why did Hassan Reddick do what he did last year? That made no sense to anyone. Explain that one, Joe. That made no sense from any perspective anywhere. From the player perspective, the agent perspective, the club perspective, any perspective, an alien from outer space perspective. Nobody could explain, nor could I, what the hell Hassan Reddick was doing. And it turns out he just did a bunch of dumb stuff. He just cost himself millions and millions of dollars for no reason at all. Explain that one. I don't know. It's people, they're people, Joe. Sometimes, who knows what's going on with these people? They could have some issue. They could have a family issue. Maybe they have a health issue. Maybe they have, who knows, Joe? They're human beings. And human beings are unpredictable. Hi, Karate is here. So, good to see you, Karate. Here's Jeremy saying, I only say it impacts us because some Jet fans are worried Dallas will be involved in the... Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't think they will be. I mean, you're right. They're tied to Dak Prescott. Now, they could still take a guy in the first round and sit him for 2 years or 3 years or do the Jordan Love plan, I guess. But, I mean, look, man, it's way too early to worry about any of that. We don't know how we're going to do. We don't know how this season's going to go. I mean, look at Arch Manning. Look at how he played yesterday. Now, Arch Manning's going to be just fine. But at the same time, this is a man making $7 million. Arch Manning is making $7 million to play for the University of Texas this year. And when you make that much money, that means the expectations are a lot higher. You know, in the old days, you know, somebody had a game like that, you'd say, all right, young fella, get him next week, no problem. Not now. Now we paid you $7 million, son. What is this? What is going on here? You know, people are going to have higher expectations. And so, but I'm just saying that because, you know, everybody was hyping up Arch Manning to be the Heisman Trophy winner. He goes out and has a stinker in the first game. And so we don't even know how things are going to go with these young QBs. We think there's going to be a bevy of them, and there should be a good number. But we don't know who's going to be playing terrible, who's going to unexpectedly rise. We don't know anything yet. It's way, way too early to be thinking about Arch Manning or anybody else. Can we let the season go through? We don't even know if the Jets are going to be good or bad. They're probably not going to be good, but you never know. Justin Fields could surprise us all. And then we go, oh my God, we found the next Renaissance quarterback, right? Could be. Not likely, but could be. It could be. And then in which case, it doesn't even apply to us. Then we're just looking at Peter Woods and Don Corleone. Yes, there's a defensive tackle named Don Corleone in the draft. And, you know, and Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith and this one and that one, which would be nice because then we could use our first round pick on, you know, something other than quarterback. And then you really got something. Because if you think about it, really, if we had the quarterback and if the offensive line plays great, which for the quarterback to play great, you need the O. So let's say we have the O line and we extend AVT and Simpson and so forth. Let's say we're set there and we're set at quarterback. Holy smokes. Then you could use your first 3 picks on, you know, really dynamite players. And then we would have a roster. We would have a freaking roster, you know, a deep roster. So let's just not skip ahead to 20, shall we? The game, we haven't even played one game in the regular season. We're already thinking about the draft. 2 veterans that didn't want training camp. Yeah, but Harlan, training camp's over now. So what's the excuse now? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they didn't want to go to training camp. Okay, well, camp's over. What are you waiting for? Let's go. There's no more excuses. And we're waiting for the right situation. All right, well, nobody else is going to really get hurt. Like at this point, I mean, after week 1, they will, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's no more real chances of injury now. Anybody who's injured, who was going to be injured before week 1 has already been injured pretty much. So like, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Duck Storm. You mean Storm Duck. His name is Storm Duck. Jeremy, get it right. Show a little respect to the Duck Man, will you? Jets Paulie, a little sambuca in my cafe this morning, Jets Paulie says. All right, little sambuca. I got this coffee right here. I got to tell you guys, this is toffee flavored. Ooh, this is good. A little butterscotch toffee in your coffee. You got to love it. All right, but now that we're on StreamYard, maybe we could do some of these things. These little banner dealios. Let's see if I can get this to work. News topic number 1. Let's see. Corey Black. You may be saying, who the hell is Corey Black? What are you talking about, Frankie? Well, he's the newest addition to our practice squad. So let's see all about Mr. Corey. Let's see if I can make this work. Share screen. The old share screen trick. Let's try it. See if it works. All right. Corey Black, scouting report. This is from the Giants. Now, we got this guy from the Giants. They let him go. They tried to sneak him through waivers. He did get through waivers, which is interesting. In other words, we didn't claim him on waivers. He gets through waivers, and then we sign him to the practice squad. So why didn't we claim him on waivers? I don't know the answer to that. But here's what the Giants were saying when they selected him in the 7th round. Elite speed at Pro Day. Elite speed. So we got an elite speedster for free. Because basically when you sign a guy to the practice squad, it's like free money. Free money. We picked up a bag of free money. NFL.com scouting report. Good size, elite speed at his Pro Day. Back pedals with precise footwork. This says precise footwork. Easy change of direction. Good ball production. Uses wingspan to and catch timing to reel in interceptions. That's good. Successful gunner. So, and here's the scouting report from 33rd team. Good size, 5'11", 6 means 5'11 and 3/4. So basically 6 feet tall. That's good. 190 pounds. Projects as a developmental starter at the NFL level. Twitchy and physical, and shows the ability to trigger and plaster against hard-angled routes. Consistency in his technique and footwork is the key to his reaching his ceiling, but the physical ability is present, and he found the football often by being combative at the catch point in 2024. With an added layer of special teams experience to his credit, Black can be a game-day active player who develops his defensive prowess over time. So this is a guy that was basically free money, too good for us to pass up. Now, what happened was ideal fit. So the other thing is he's an ideal fit for our scheme because this says right here, developmental starter for a press man scheme at the NFL level. That's what we do. We're going to have a press man scheme for the most part this year. And that's what he is. So we're developing him on the practice squad. So this is a nice little pickup. Now, what happened was the Giants said, oh, you want to pick up our guy? Okay. You want to play that game? All right. We're going to pick up your guy. Who? What? Yeah, we lost Zaire Barnes to the Gigantes. They said, oh, you want to take Corey Black? All right. We're going to take Zaire Barnes. But you know what? I'd rather have a developmental cornerback than a developmental linebacker. Cornerbacks are way more valuable, harder to find. So if we're going to trade developmental people, I'd rather have Corey Black than Zaire Barnes. So that's that on Mr. Corey. Tony Alexio is here. The Chaos Package. What is Tony Alexio going to do now? After all, Tony Alexio, are you now going to be a 49er fan? Because the Amart package, the Martinez package is gone, my friend. He gone. He went over to the 49ers. So what is Tony Alexio going to do now without his Martinez package? He's all sad and crying in the corner. Sluggo's here. Sharon McLean is here. It would have been much worse. Yeah. Tony says, we cut the Martinez package, but never the chaos. Oh, so now he's going to switch over to the chaos package. All right. But the problem with that is the chaos package doesn't offer much value. Let's be honest. I mean, what's in the chaos package? You got some hot sauce. You got some hot takes. You know, there's not much else in there. You know, his old eyeballs from when he's got new eyeballs now. So what does he do with the old ones? He probably keeps them in a jar somewhere. That's creepy. Joe Mike, basically it was a Barnes for Black trade swap. Yeah. And I'd rather have the cornerback. If we're going to develop somebody, it's harder to find corners who can do what we need them to do. So would have liked to have kept Barnes also. We also have a couple of spots open. We're going to talk about that next. BC Salami. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about this next. Phil Adams, 2026 will be our franchise quarter. Well, let's hope so. Sluggo says, elite speed in football is good, but if that's all you got, you're a fast-drawing gunslinger. Can't shoot for shit. Yeah, well, hopefully he develops the other things. And he does have other things. And the nice thing about Corey Black is he has all that special teams experience. So if you need to elevate him to game day because of injuries and whatnot, he's not going to have any kind of problem adjusting to the special teams. And when you're talking about these kind of players, these are practice squad level players. He was a 7th-round pick. When you're talking about these players, if you can get a guy who's really good on special teams and has some developmental qualities and has something elite like speed, I mean, that's what more can you ask for a 7th-round pick practice squad level player? You can't really ask for much more than that. If he had those other things, he'd be a 2nd-round pick. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Barron package. You open the box and there's nothing in it. There's no. Wait a minute. Somebody sent me an empty package. What's going on? All right, but now let's close this. Let's take a look at something very important. Wait a minute. Do we have banner? Do we have a banner for this? Yes, we do. Look at this. I got banners going. Open practice squad spots. We got some jobs. Anybody want a job? Anybody out there would like a job? We got a couple of jobs open, as you can see here. So this is the practice squad. Now, we kept pretty much everybody that we wanted. I would have liked to have kept Zaire Barnes also, but he decided to go over to the Giants. Okay, fine. Think you're going to get a fair shake over there? I don't think so. Would you rather be coached by Aaron Glenn or Brian Daboll? Glenn's a defensive mind, Daboll offensive mind. I would probably go with Glenn, but okay, you made your choice, son. But we got Cook, Mevis, Clark. We got both of the Clarks. We got some offensive linemen, all these people. And we got basically all of the wide receivers that we wanted to keep. We kept them. Pritchett, Skinner, kept them. Johnson is down here for 53-man roster maneuvering purposes, and Brandon Smith, we kept him as well. And Marquise Hayes, who played well in the preseason, we kept him. And Peyton Page, the defensive tackle, we kept him. So we basically kept everybody we wanted pretty much. And we lost JBC, but hey, what are you going to do, I guess? JBC and Barnes would be the two probably, if we had to be honest, and Donovan Edwards, I guess. Now, if you notice, we don't have a running back on here, but we do have 4 on the 53-man, but we don't have a 5th one here. So if we're going to sign somebody, probably a running back in the cards to be signed. Donovan Edwards went over to the Commanders, and you can't blame him. You know, he was 5th on the depth chart here, so probably thought he had a better opportunity with the Commanders. And but we got 2 open practice squad spots. Now, what do you think we're going to do with these? It could be that we're going to sign Zadarius Smith, like Joe Mike was talking about. Maybe we sign Zadarius Smith today. That'd be nice. Or Jadeveon Clowney. And then those guys get signed to the 53, and then you move a guy like Andrew Beck down to the practice squad because, it's not, he can just sit on the practice squad and we'll elevate him for the game days. But then we still got another spot. So I don't know who we're planning to sign, but we should sign a couple of people soon to fill this up, probably before Monday. Practice starts Monday, everybody. The season starts on Monday. We might want to get on it and get our full squad going. But it'll be interesting to see what we do with these two spots. Now, here's how the 53 man is looking. The people in gray are the ones I would anticipate most of the time are going to be inactive on game day. And you look at this squad; it's obviously a little light on wide receivers. We only kept 5 of them on the active roster. A little heavy on the offensive lineman, but when you get a chance to get Asa Pole as a developmental dude, you do it because he has such physical tools, and he's not going to be a factor really probably until next year. But hey, that's sometimes you got to look to the future a little bit. And then here's the old defense. I would anticipate A.Z. Thomas, Tyler Barron, and Leonard Taylor III, or maybe Kiko Mauigoa, one of these two, to be inactive on game day. But if you added Zadarius Smith to this, it would look a lot better, wouldn't it? I mean, it really would. I don't know, man. I was thinking, what about Jabril Peppers? Now, the problem with Jabril Peppers, who got unexpectedly cut with the Patriots, and he's a really good player for a free safety, much better than Tony Adams. Or he's kind of like a hybrid player, which I like, and I think AG would like. So he's not strictly a free safety, but the problem with Jabril Peppers, I think a lot of people are going to want him, and he's going to get to choose where he wants to go. So I don't think he would choose to go with us, even though we could offer him a starting spot. That's something we could offer. Not everybody else could offer that. We could offer, hey, you can get revenge on the Patriots twice a year for cutting you. We could offer that. So there's that. And, but we really haven't heard that the Jets are, we did try to sign Talanoa Hufanga, formerly of the 49ers, currently of the Denver Broncos. But that was before we signed Cisco. After we signed Cisco, it seemed like all quiet on the safety front for the Jets. They didn't seem interested in doing much, except that we did add, of course, Malachi Moore in the draft. But after that, we haven't shown any interest in doing anything. Now, a guy like Isaiah Oliver pretty much has to make the team because he backs up like 10,000 spots. So he's your backup everything. So if we did sign a Jabril Peppers, Tony Adams spot would be the one that's really in danger. Tiny Tony might be out of here if we signed a guy like that. That would be a nice signing. I mean, if we signed Jabril Peppers and Zadarius Smith or Jadeveon Clowney, then the defense is looking pretty good. It's looking good now, but still. And it makes me wonder, with these two spots, what's going on? What's happening? All right, so let's see what you guys think about what's going on with this practice squad. Yeah, of course. Well, not officially. This is just a Frankie spreadsheet, Chaos. It's not the official. It's just me thinking. But Jelani Woods, think about the tools that man has. Now, he might have to be inactive for a week or two. He just got here 2 seconds ago. So he might be inactive for the first week or two because he has to acclimate and but maybe he's a quick learner. I don't know. But eventually, once he's up to speed, yes, he's your blocking tight end. So Mason Taylor's your F tight end, Woods is your Y. And then you have Smart as your backup F and Ruckert's your backup Y, which is interesting. But that's the way I look at it, Chaos. It's not official. It's Frankie official. Yeah, we might go get Toafili since he was here. If it was Toafili, though, you'd think he'd be signed already, Joe Mike. Toafili's not a guy who's in high demand. So if it was going to be him, why is he not here already? Cut Gibson and the heartburns. Well, they like Gibson, so they're not cutting him. They put him on over Pritchett, so they're not going to cut him. Tiny Tony. Yeah, I gave you a wrench, Chaos. I also gave one to Phil Adams. So that way, if there's any spam or anything, you guys can feel free to squash it. Hopefully, Woods will be able to play. Yeah. Now, if he doesn't play, then we're back to where we were. So it was it was free money. Jelani Woods is free money. We just got him for nothing. So if you get something for nothing, well, look, if he gets hurt, oh well, we're back to where we were before. But it was worthwhile gamble and if he is healthy, he should be able to help us. So that's the way I look at it. Free, absolutely free money. And it improves the roster. All three of the guys we picked up improved the roster. Well, Asa Pole didn't, but he's more for the future. So that's the practice squad. All right, let's get into the next part of the show, which is about expectations. So we're on the verge of the season right now, and we're about to start. So it's about time we think about expectations. I did a video this week about pessimistic, optimistic, how they do in business. They make a case. They say, what's the optimistic case for this new product? Or, what's the optimistic case for this market thing we're doing? And what's the pessimistic case? Okay. And then what's the realistic case? So I thought I would do the same thing. So I did a video about that. And and I started thinking about expectations. So as far as the defense goes, what's your expectations? Top 20, top 32? Are we going to have a top 32 defense? I would hope so. There's 32 teams in the league. So if we're not top 32, we got problems. How about top 20? How about top 10, top 15? Let me know in the chat, what is your expectation for this defensive unit? Assuming health. Let's just assume everybody's healthy. Of course, somebody will get injured. They always do. But let's just say, for argument's sake, they're all healthy, everybody healthy. What is your expectation for this defense? Let me know in the chat. This is the time when you guys participate. Let me know in the chat. Let me know. Meantime, let's check out some sounds. So StreamYard also has sounds. Let's see what these look like. Sound. Okay, so if we want some applause, we could hit that. What about this? I don't like that. That's a police siren. Police are coming. Popo coming. Jeremy says, I think we can move back to top 10 because we improved at defensive tackle and got JJ back. Top 10, top 15. Well, if we have a top 10 defense, man, and we just have an average offense, could we make the playoffs? No one will exploit our secondary, Sluggo says, but run game is yet to be determined. Yeah, that's where Harrison Phillips and Briggs come into play. Hopefully, Phillips is really good. Briggs, is backup quality. Joe Mike says Clowney and Smith both linked to Detroit. Yep. Yeah, maybe so, but why isn't Detroit signing them then? There have been rumors about Za'Darius going back to Detroit. Detroit needs pass rush in the worst way. They have a lot of injuries. So why haven't they signed him yet? What are they waiting for? The season is starting. Season starts on Thursday, people. I don't know if you noticed. What are all these teams waiting for? Why is Justin Simmons hasn't signed anywhere? What's he waiting for? Geez. What are all these people waiting for? All right, so that's the defense. Well, if that's the defense, what about the offense? This one now is going to be a little more difficult to know because, after all, we haven't seen Tanner Armstrong call a play in the NFL yet. We don't know if Justin Fields is going to be able to keep ascending the way he's been the first 4 years in his career. We don't know if he's going to keep ascending or go down or tail off. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's an unknown quantity at quarterback. We have a young offensive line with a lot of talent, but we don't know if they can put it all together and be really good yet. We hope so. So maybe this one is hard to say. Seth Castro, worried the defense is a bit undersized versus run-heavy offense. Well, that's where Phillips and Briggs come in. It's still not, we're kind of light on that one edge. I mean, on one edge, we have Braden McGregor. I mean, that's not good. But, yeah, we got a lot more stout here with these trades that we made. So those were two good trades that Muji made. So I would say that's very encouraging about Muji, that now some of the first moves he made were 3 really good waiver claims and 2 really good trades. And these were the first moves he made with his entire full staff on board that he hired, over the summertime. So, yeah, you can always be worried about the run defense because run defense is hard. And you can say, well, these guys are going to, they just got here, so they have to learn what Wilkes wants them to do and all that. So maybe it takes a minute for it to click in. But we got ourselves better in terms of the roster with Phillips and Briggs. So those were 2 really good moves. Why we didn't address it in the draft? I don't know. Harlan Abraham, what are the players waiting for? Talk to their agents. Okay. Harlan, nah. I was thinking, Harlan, maybe we put a tariff on your comments, but nah, I'll let you slide. We all know that the agents are involved. But I mean, waiting at this point, Phil, like the waiting has to stop. Like, unless they just have no offers and they're just lying to the media. And then they're just waiting. But I mean, waiting around for injuries, then what? You're going to join the team in week 4 or 5? I wouldn't do it. Hopefully the Jets will compete this year with improved rookie coaching. Yeah, let's hope so. Jeremy says, I wonder what our dime package will look like. That'll be Oliver. Oliver's a dime. Oliver is really quite a good piece on the back end of a defense to have as a backup. He's your dime guy. He's your backup nickel. He's your backup left cornerback, right cornerback. He's your backup free safety. I mean, the guy can back up everywhere. It's really valuable. But I think it's Oliver. Could be wrong, but I think it's Oliver. I think they're going to trust Oliver. A.Z. Thomas didn't have enough time in camp, and he's a young rookie, so I wouldn't trust him in dime. And plus, he's more of a boundary corner anyways. Stigers played boundary corner all preseason and didn't play it particularly well. So I would say it's Oliver because they're going to trust Oliver to do that. It's not an easy position to play. You rarely come in. Rarely. A lot of games you never in dime anyways. So you rarely play. You got to be ready to go on a moment's notice. And I think they would trust the veteran Isaiah Oliver to do that. But I could be wrong. We'll have to see. Slogo says, some NFL agents are like having Don King as a boxing promoter. Okay. All right. So what about expectations for Justin Fields? What are your expectations for Justin Fields? Put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. And in the meantime, I'm going to look at some of these sounds that they give me. Let's add this. What does this sound like? What about this? That's weird. All right, what else we got here? That's kind of weird, all the sounds that they have. Justin Fields, top half of the league. PC says low expectations. I hope top 20. Yeah. I would think, well, actually, I would think chalk is like 20. He's going to be 20th because he can run. I mean, he's always going to have that value for running, right? So 20 is probably the floor. The 20 is probably the lowest. You got to look at the running too, because he's going to be running wild. And if he's running and making first downs and touchdowns, you got to count that into the mix. So we can't just look at like passer rating, because that doesn't really take into account the running part. Harlan says Justin Fields should have a good season. Well, let's hope so. Fields isn't going to kill with his arm, or he will with his legs. Yep. Fields will most likely be the guy he has been. He thinks is a bridge quarterback. Well, he's gotten better every single year he's been in the league. Can he keep ascending or not? People really don't realize how good he was for the 6 games with the Steelers, because it was only 6 games and then he got pulled. Dodes, a bit late. The Dodester. Tony Alexio says, we hope Field improves, but don't count on it with 2-read look and holding the ball too long. Seth Castro, I hope they go for it a lot on 4th and get creative in short yardage plays. Having good tush push will go a long way too. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that are to our advantage this year. One is Fields in that regard, and the other one's Braylon Allen. If you looked in the preseason or, even last year, Braylon Allen's a truck. And with an improved, hopefully, offensive line, including tight end blocking, if you include Woods, a guy like Braylon Allen should be short yardage king. Right? And then if it's very small short yardage, just tush push all day with Justin, because he can do that. So that's good, because it keeps drives alive, and then you get more plays on offense, obviously. So should be interesting. Just keeping reasonable expectations. Yeah, I want to believe, but 8 touchdowns? How about 3 touchdowns? Why we got to get 1? All we really need is 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals per game. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to get 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals per game? I don't know. Now, what about Willie Mack? Expectations with Willie Mack? How many sacks for Willie Mack? How many sacks for Willie Mack? Put it in the chat. As I play with some of these sounds that they give you. They give you a bunch of sounds. I don't know why they decided on these sounds. This says fountain. Let's see what this is. Willie Mack. Joe Mike says 11. So only half a sack more. Phil Adams says 12. A dozen. Chaos says 15 sacks for double cheeseburger chaos. 15. That's a lot in the modern day. I mean, why is it so hard for these guys to get 1 sack a game? Think about it. If you got 17 sacks in a season, you'd make $40 million. It's 1 sack per game. One time. You're doing the thing we're paying you to do. You did it once per game. Why is it so hard? I don't know. Sun Moon Rise says Nueve. Says he's going down in sacks. PC Salami says 10 sacks for the Big Mac. Sluggo says if JJ's a threat inside, Old McDonald could get 15 sacks. E-I-E-I-O, meaning they'll probably have to double team. Jermaine Johnson, don't you know? Yeah. That helps. And Harrison Phillips helps too. More attention they got to pay to him. He's a big load. I mean, he should help Quinnen as well. But the more threats you have along the line, the better it is for everybody. Put it that way. All right. Speaking of which, how about Jermaine? How many sacks for the JJ man? He's happy today because Florida State won against Alabama. They ranked Alabama 8th in the in the country, and then Florida State, unranked, came in after a terrible season last year and whooped them. So, Jermaine Johnson and A.Z. Thomas got to be smiling today. Got to be smiling today. JJ Alan Dodds, the record is still 22.5. Yeah, right. You would think that there would be somebody like who's just so much better than everybody else. You know what I mean? Like the Babe Ruth of sacks. And the record would be like 30 or 35. And then because he was just so much better than everyone. And then other people, around this much. But the record is 22.5. Guys can't even get 1 sack per game. 12 for JJ. Jeremy says 8 for JJ. That would be an improvement. One thing you notice when in the game against Tennessee last year, the second game when he got hurt, before he got hurt, he was a demon in that game. He was always in the backfield. And it makes you wonder what kind of year he was really going to have. Was it just the Tennessee protection that was really bad, or was he just going to really explode onto the scene and just have an amazing season? We'll never know. But if it were the latter, then we might be selling him a little short. JJ, 7 sacks. What if Will McDonald had 15 and JJ had 10 and Quinnen had 8? It would be the new sack exchange. No clue what to expect from JJ. All right, no expectations, I guess is good. 8 sacks. It'll take a while to knock the rust off and trust the leg, Dode says. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, here's a good point. Here's a good question from Joe Mike. The Jets defense had 43 snacks last year. Over under 43 this year. I would have to say over. Number 1, JJ comes back. Number 2, Spinny McWhinney is stronger. Number 3, we're going to blitz more. So we'll probably give up more big plays. But on the other side, we'll probably have more sacks by people like Quincy, Jamian, even the safeties. They're not going to put up big numbers, but they'll occasionally pitch in a snack. So I would say over, just because of the blitz rate going up, and hopefully we get home with it. Yeah, so Doge is on the same wavelength that I am. I think those blitzes, we'll get burned by them occasionally, and that'll be annoying. But at the same time, hopefully we get home enough. So that's going to be something to watch for the season as well. So Jeremy and Alan Dodds are going to have a little homoerotic thing going on Sunday, so everybody should tune in for that. Are you going to live stream it, Jeremy? Are you going to kiss him on the mouth? What's going on here? I think you should have a live stream, the Jeremy and Deuteronomy show. The book of Deuteronomy is coming home to embrace Jeremy and his new eyeballs. It's going to be really special, live streamed. JJ and Willie Mack complement each other really well. Hopefully the Phillips edition can really unlock the potential, says Seth. Yeah. Dode says, I miss you too, Jeremy. You guys should get a room. Get a room, as they say. Separated at birth. All right, but what about, what else do I have here? No, that's it. But let's put in one more. Let's do one more. because, after all, we got this guy. What about Ahmad Gardner? How many interceptions for Mr. Gardner, the constant gardener? Cornerback snacks. They'll get some snacks. Time for snacking, cornerbacking. Yeah, we're going to blitz off of that. Safeties, corners. We're going to be blitzing from all over the place. So that'll be exciting, but it is going to burn us at times, so you should be prepared for that. Quarterbacks will beat us against the blitz sometimes, and hopefully we get home more often than not. But for Ahmad went from all-pro and Pro Bowl to no pro at all last year. So therefore, he went from Sauce Gardner to Ahmad Gardner. So he's back down to Ahmad now. And if he goes to the Pro Bowl or gets an all-pro, then he gets back up to Sauce. But considering that, how many INTs is Ahmad going to have? He looked pretty intense in the preseason game that he played, but he also has a calf that's a little troublesome. Has kept him out of practice, so hopefully they're just being overly cautious, and he's okay. But calf injuries can be tricky, so he might have to miss some time this year at some point. He seems to have some leg injury problems. He had some last year also. Alan Dode says 1. They're going to throw away from him. Just 1 for Mr. Ahmad. Can't say how many ints, but I think you play much better and go from Ahmad back to Sauce. Well, that would be nice. Also be nice if he could get some picks. Gardner pick 6 against Rodgers, man. I mean, if you want to see MetLife basically crumble to the ground, if that were to happen early on in the game, the entire stadium, the place would be going nuts. The place would crumble to the ground. Sluggo, I don't care if he gets picks. Just keep knocking the ball down. Well, I mean, there's always the usefulness of lowering your expectations. But I want to see him take the ball away. Let's go, Ahmad. Ball has to be near you to get the INT. Oh, you mean like that one against Dak Prescott that he dropped? Like that other one against the Vikings that he dropped? I mean, he's had his opportunities. He drops them. Too much of a dropkin. What's up with his dropsicles? I mean, that one against Dak Prescott could have changed that whole game around. And then same thing with the Vikings game, the one in London. He had a tip ball right to him, and he dropped it in the end zone, if you remember that. That could have changed that whole game around. That's 2 right there, just off the top of my head that he should have had. Bum. I'm just kidding. He's not a bum. If the stadium crumbled, that's a win for everyone. Right. So let's get a pick 6 against Rodgers and let the stadium crumble. Then they're going to have to build a new one, hopefully with some grass. One of the things that annoys me is watching these replay videos, these videos that One Jets Drive puts out, which are excellent, of course. But then they show these videos, and it's like you really, because they're from like the field view, that there's a person with a camera right at the field level, and you get to really see up close and personal that playing surface, and it annoys the hell out of me every time that we have our tens of millions of dollars we give these people, some of them, and we make them play on frozen concrete. It just annoys me so much. So much. So stupid. But MetLife Stadium is one of the top grossing venues in all the world. So it's a success for business, don't you see, Frankie? Yes. Yes. How much money do you need, Woody Johnson? Well, I need it all. I need all the money, you see. Billions and billions of dollars. That doesn't matter. It's still got to be, it's a separate business venture, Frankie. Don't you understand? It's got to make money. Okay. All right. Joe Mike, Sauce on cornerback blitz, sacks Rodgers. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Sluggo, Sauce plays defense because he doesn't have hands for offense. Haha, the old joke about all the defensive backs. Sluggo brings back all the old jokes. Except for the people at the stadium at the time. Well, as long as they got out of it safely, PC, then they'd be happy. Dodes, I'll be there. It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it. Yeah. But by the way, we're not getting a new stadium for at least 20 years. I hope you guys realize. At least. Why do you say that, Frankie? Well, because what's the average useful life of a stadium? Might be a good thing to know. Because after all, you'd want to know, is this stadium at the end of its useful life? That's a business question you would ask. And MetLife Stadium was built in 2010. And the average useful life of a stadium is about 25 to 30 years. So you're looking at 2035 at the minimum, at the very minimum. And it's probably going to go longer than that. So I say 20 years. So 2045 is the earliest you could start thinking about it. So hope you enjoy MetLife until 2045. That'll be beautiful. Seth says they will have to put in grass for the World Cup, then promptly remove it for no reason. Yeah, they put in like a thin layer of, of grass, quote unquote grass, but even the players complained about that. And it's because you can't just put I guess it's better, but they put in like this thin layer of grass over top of the frozen concrete. And it's like you can't, that's not what we're talking about. We're not just talking about putting a thin layer of grass above frozen concrete. That's not the same. It doesn't give. It's supposed to be dirt and grass. It's called earth. Dirt and grass and earth. It has give to it. And so, yeah, just rolling out a thin layer of grass on top doesn't solve the problem. They did it because that was the FIFA regulations or whatever. But still, they weren't completely happy with it. But they did play on it. So, from the venue's point of view, it was very successful. No, Sluggo. I'm not in Pittsburgh. I'm not in Flatbush. I'm in Florida, buddy. Come on, get with the times. It's been a year I've been down here. A year plus. Moved down last year, Sluggo. You don't remember? Had a transition. I was in a completely different apartment. Now I'm in my second apartment here in Florida. I'm in the place where everyone goes eventually, which is called Florida. Dodester, I was just at MetLife for Corn and System of a Down. There you go. They just covered the turf for the show. And you can, right, exactly. That's why, yeah, I know. It's a venue. That's why. Now, you're going to have to explain why the Kansas City Stadium and the Buffalo Stadium and the Pittsburgh Stadium all have grass and they have concerts. So there's a way to do it, but it's just more costly. That's why they don't want to do it. It's it's one of the most profitable venues in all the world. They keep bragging about it. So profitable means the money that it costs for you to put on a show like this, like that, and they have many, many concerts. They have Taylor Swift, they have Beyonce, they have SZA, whoever that is. They have all these popular acts, Bruce Springsteen, with his stupid songs. But they have all these acts, and that means that it costs them much less to have those people come in, and the money they make, the revenue they gain is more than the amount that it costs to maintain it. So if you increase the maintenance cost, that's going to make it less profitable. It's a business venture. That's the problem. They built it as a business venture, which in a business venture, you want to keep your expenses low and your revenues high. That's how you make money in business. And they didn't build it as a football stadium. The football is just ancillary. You guys think MetLife is a football stadium. It's not. It's a venue. It's an event venue is what it is. They just happen to play football there sometimes for two teams. And then most of the time, it's a concert venue. And like Alan's saying, people go and they enjoy Korn and System of a Down and SZA and Bruce Springsteen and all these people. And that's what the purpose of the stadium is. To make the Johnsons and the Maras lots and lots and lots of money so they can buy more super yachts. I mean, these super yachts are not going to pay for themselves. How am I supposed to afford a goddamn super yacht if I don't have multiple businesses making billions and billions of dollars? Hello? So these super yachts are costly. You know, you understand that you have to go to a place like Milan or someplace in Europe fancy like that, and they have a showcase of super yachts. They have a marina where all these super yachts are docked, the ones that you can buy, and you, as a rich person, go. You have to take your shoes off. They don't let you wear your shoes on the super yacht, and you're walking around and you're deciding whether to buy the super yacht. It could be a 50 I don't know, 50 yard or 100 yards, 200. I don't know how big these things are. And you get to shop around for a super yacht. And these things, you know, they cost a pretty penny. Every little detail is thought of and thought through. Then you got to buy a crew for the super yacht, because once you take your super yacht out, you need a crew of people to staff it so you could serve the champagne and the caviar. Who's going to serve the champagne and caviar? Huh? You need a staff of people to do that. Who's going to clean the toilets on the super yacht? We need people for that. So all of this takes money. This is not about football. MetLife is an event venue. It is not a football stadium. They dress it up as a football stadium sometimes, but mostly it's just an event venue. Football is one event that happens there, soccer, concerts, you name it. And it's very, very profitable. Not for you, not for me, not for the Jet players who break their ankles and their femurs and their this bone and that bone on the surface. Not profitable for them, although they do get paid a handsome salary, but still, it's profitable for the Johnsons and the Maras and the Tishes. That's who. And so it's never changing. You're not getting a new stadium. Forget it, at least until 2045. At least. It could go longer than that. So all this stadium talk, all this grass talk, I don't want to hear it. The only way it's going to go to grass is if the union demands it in the next CBA, and I don't think they can't even get a real executive director. They can't figure out a guy who can't get a guy in there who can't stop going to the strip club to go look at lady boobs a lot. I mean, this is ridiculous. They're going to be happy to take whatever the NFL gives them. They're not a real union. They can't even hire people correctly. I mean, it's ridiculous, and that's the only way that we would have grass fields and mandated, and then therefore we would have to change ours and get ours updated. So it's not happening at all. So there you go. Phil Adams is bouncing to go see Prince on IMAX. Well, that might be something to go see. Yeah. Now, the Bills, on the other hand, did the opposite. They're building a football stadium, and I'm sure they'll have events there as well, but they figured out how to do it. And guess what? It's grass, Dodes. Grass. Well, this is the other thing, Seth. They're not convinced that grass is that much more safer than the type of field turf they have. They're wrong, but they get the data from people like McKinsey. They get reports, and the reports are like, yeah, it may be 5 or 10% safer. So you might get one less sprained ankle. Is that worth it to put in a multi-million-dollar system of grass to save one sprained ankle? Now, I think the data that they get is wrong. And I don't think they're looking at the long-term consequences. And I don't think they're looking at the advantage you get when you have a healthy team. For example, there is a difference in your team staying healthy versus the league. If you're healthier than the rest of the league, you do get more wins. That's been proven out. And so you could say, well, that's an advantage. And if we win, you know, we'll have so much more money because we'll have playoff games here. We'll sell more merchandise. We'll sell more season tickets. I mean, what they do with season tickets is also ridiculous. NYJ, Matt, and Mike are online going, wait a minute. We just got our package for the season tickets, and there's no package at all. They don't even get anything. They just get thank you for purchasing season tickets. Meanwhile, other teams offer you packages of, you could get a windbreaker, you could get multiple items. other things, nice things. If you buy this level, you get that. If you buy this other level, you get a windbreaker and this and that. The Jets give you nothing. Thank you for your purchase. The hell is that? And that's the business side, which is supposed to be this business genius, Jaime El High. He's a genius, Jaime. He can't be touched. No one can touch Jaime. Jaime's untouchable. I mean, everybody else can get fired, but not Jaime. Jaime is untouchable. He's a business fucking genius. Because look at the value of the franchise, Frankie. It's $8.11 billion. Yeah, like Jaime has anything to do with that. Sure he does. Yeah. God forbid we question Jaime's spot on the roster. But that's the way it is. It's never changing. We're going to have field turf until we're going to have this stadium at least until 2045. It's always going to be field turf unless by some miracle the union fights for all grass fields, which I don't think they will. But I'd be happy to be wrong about that. PC Salami. Well, then if you enjoyed it, you know I'm right. That's what they do. These people go super yacht shopping. It's literally a shopping mart. They go, let's go to Milan and go to this fancy marina. And then they have all these super yachts. And you walk around. You go, oh, yes, this one looks like it might be all right for me. You know, and all this. And that's what these people do. Oh, the television is in the wrong spot. I don't like it over here. I'd like it over there. Is there any way we could move the television, the 100-foot television over? It's on the left wall. I'd prefer it be on the right wall. Is there any way we could move that? This is their life. You're sitting there drinking a $10 beer. They're drinking champagne on a super yacht, talking about can we move the 100-foot television to the other side of the wall? That's what's going on. Taking a crap on a golden toilet. Yeah, exactly. Molan Labe's here. Yes, I'm not sure if this toilet is golden enough. This bidet. They don't have toilets. They have bidets, right? This bidet, I'm not sure if it's the right height. I might want it 2 inches higher. Can we get the bidet 2 inches higher? I'd like to see if we could get a modification. I mean, come on. But that's what's going on. That's what's going on. All right. So I think this was a successful voyage on StreamYard. We'll see if we're going to continue with StreamYard or not. But it seemed to work out okay. Let me know if you guys like the old some of these sound effects like this or like this or like this one or like this one. Let me know what you thought about the sound effects. And I guess we'll see you guys next week. Maybe this week. We don't know. But I'll see you guys next time. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a confident grin on the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze, you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway, on the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill, Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go.
every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow. Lay low.